Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chasing Chevy Chase podcast, a podcast where we talk about Chevy Chase, chase him down, and ask him, why in God's name did you make all these movies? And then he pulls out some money and goes, this is why. On this episode of the Chasing Chevy Chase podcast, I'm still your host, Chris Dasher from the Culture Cast, and I'm joined by my two good friends all the way from a stakeout out west, your friend and mine, Mark Begley.
I got a Nikon camera. I love to take a photograph.
And all the way from everyone's favorite northern state, Mike White of the projection booth.
Don't ever throw a cat at me again.
You know, I'm really disappointed that we didn't get the back and forth of the two of you. Give me one for my baby, one more for the road. That was, you know what?
I don't know that song.
A poignant moment in an otherwise idiotic film.
Almost poignant.
Almost. On this show, we do take a look at the combined works of Mr. Chevy Chase, starting from the beginning and, careening towards what can only be described as a crash ending. We are near the end of our episode run for this show. We are in the 90s at this point. We started with Foul Play, so if you're just checking in with us now, welcome. And if you've been here this whole time, I'm sorry. On this episode, we are going to be talking about 1994's cop comedy film starring Chevy Chase, directed by Michael Ritchie, which is the thing that bums me out the most. We're going to be talking about 1994's Cops and Robberson.
In the war against crime, Detective Jake Stone has a new ally.
Norman Robberson, your home is the perfect cover for an effective stakeout.
You got the guts. Wow.
Whether he likes it
Get you.
or not,
He said freeze.
He's an idiot.
Chevy Chase,
Breaker, breaker, this is Man from Uncle.
Hi, Norman.
Jack Palance,
You are not a cop.
Cops and Robbersons.
I think that went pretty well.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, April 15th at a theater near you.
So the film stars Chevy Chase as Norman Roberson, a man whose family just happens to live next to Robert. The movie's explanation. The plot of this movie sounds like a fever dream. Chevy Chase and his family: Diane Wiest, Chevy Chase, a very young Miko Hughes, live next to Robert Davi, who is a counterfeiter and a mob hitman. And because they live next to him and they need to, I guess, observe him at all times, Jack Palance and his idiot cop sidekick go and live in Chevy Chase's house. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Perfect sense. It's almost like there aren't ways to do stakeouts without living in someone's house and pretending to be their family. Has anyone ever used the term contrived? Has anyone ever used the term idiotic? If they haven't, this is a perfect film for those words to be used. Mike, I'm going to kick it to you first. What did you think of Cops and Robbersons? Get the title? It's like a play on cops and robbers.
Got it.
It's very similar to Amos and Andrew from around the same time. Yeah,
And in terms of quality of the film, it's just like Soul Man.
it's right up there. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate this film, but it was just so blah. It was just so nothing. So I actually read the script for this one, God help me, by Bernie Summers, his only credited work. I mean, with screenwriters, you never know. He could be working today, could be punching up screenplays someplace. I don't know. But this is the only film that has his name on it. And I don't know what happened between that draft of the script that I read and the movie that we actually watched, but there's a lot of connective tissue that is just completely missing from the film. The screenplay is 113 pages, so about 113 minutes, almost 2 hours. And there are little things in there that just make things make a lot more sense. Like the beginning of the movie, where we have this guy who is basically selling, he's giving real cash to Robert Davi to get counterfeit cash, like a lot more counterfeit cash. Like, what is it, 10 cents on the dollar, I think they say at one point in this. And the guy is very nervous and he says that he's cold, right? And then Robert Davi sends him off and there's a bomb in the case and it blows up and goes, oh, that'll warm you up. Well, cut to Jack Palance, who is there because that guy is actually an undercover, or he has been like, he's an informant type guy for the cops. Like, they set him up to go get this cash and to capture Robert Davi. Robert Davi is the guy that Jack Palance's character is really trying to catch and has been on this case for years. You would never know that from this film. You would never know from what actually happens in this opening that's what's going on, because they cut all the stuff with Palance listening in and the guy's wearing a wire and all this stuff. None of that is there.
I'm wondering what you're talking about right now, because I'm like, I guess I missed all that.
No, it's not there. It was in the screenplay.
The script.
They never filmed it. Not at all. But then you get another weird thing where the guy who insists on giving Chevy Chase bagels with cream cheese, there's only one scene of that, and that's like page 77. That's when Chevy Chase uses the badge and arrests this guy, quote unquote, arrests him. There's no earlier scene of that happening. So like there has to be the earlier scene for the later scene to pay off. So basically I'm saying this whole thing is a big mess. And it's just I can't say I was offended by it. I was unoffended, and it was just so blasé and just so by the numbers. Like I could see every scene coming up, and every time there was a turn, I could see it coming a mile away. Oh boy, that toilet that Chevy Chase isn't fixing or isn't reconnecting, that's going to be Jack Palance doing that and making him a hero to the family, and then in turn making Chevy Chase feel a little bad. I mean, everything is just so freaking predictable in this movie, and it very much feels like a first-time screenwriter's job to do this, and you hit all of those tropes and all those notes that we're all familiar with, and nothing is a surprise in this film. Not that I was expecting a surprise from Cops and Robbersons, but it's just so meh. What'd you think, Mark?
Well, I was reminded of a couple different movies throughout the film that, like we've mentioned other times, it's a bad thing when the movie you're watching makes you think of other movies that you'd rather be watching.
Especially better movies.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, one of them was, speaking of Richard Dreyfuss, Stakeout.
Yeah.
And it's a different scenario. It makes a lot more sense because of the way that they're staking out the Madeline Stowe character, but it has a lot more charm and humor and interest than this film. And then the other movie it was reminding me of was Poltergeist. And I'm like, am I mishearing this score? I kept hearing like, what's her name? What's the little girl's name in Poltergeist?
Caroline.
I kept hearing her theme. And I'm like, is this the same? Because I know that composers will do this, use motifs throughout their, au revoir. But I'm like, no, what? Am I just confusing this? Is it just very similar? It sounded in parts exactly like the score from Poltergeist, and it was really tripping me out. And the way the house is kind of reminded me of the Poltergeist house. So I was like, man, I wish I was watching Poltergeist right now because I fucking love that movie.
Chevy Chase in the kitchen, all those chairs stacked up. He takes that little vampire kid, puts them on the floor, and he scoots across with no power. Yes, that'd be
that
great.
little vampire kid, horror icon Miko Hughes.
Yes,
Mike,
Gage.
come on. Sometimes
Cemetery
dead is
and
better.
Pet Cemetery and New Nightmare.
Yeah,
Kill
those
Rising.
New Nightmare for me, and I'm not a huge fan of Miko Hughes. I just not a kid actor that I resonate with.
Yeah, that was confusing to me. His whole obsession with Dracula. They could have probably fleshed that out a little more.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
He's a horror kid.
Like Mike, I didn't hate this one. This was okay, and I was glad to see Diane Wiest, although her character was really grating to me.
Very much, yes.
And I was surprised when she showed up because I'm like, oh, they've got to be roughly the same age. And that hasn't been the case in most of the Chevy Chase movies we've watched where he has a love interest. It's like usually 20-year difference. Funny Money, for example. But so that was kind of nice. But man, I didn't like her at all. And the other two kids were fine. The middle child, this other son, was the only one that really seemed to have any kind of character. And the daughter was just there to, I don't know.
Yeah, to flirt with the other cop.
Yeah, to flirt with the younger cop, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much stuff too when it comes to the family. And I'm sorry, Chris, I'll ask you what you thought of it in a second here. But when it comes to setting up the family, there are huge chunks missing from that. Like we start with the next morning kind of thing. but we don't have like what are these relationships between these characters. The only thing we know is that there's a bathroom crisis because one bathroom is out. And that was, for the longest time in movies, such the trope when it came to my house is under repair. That means that there are problems in this family. Like you watch the film Ransom with Mel Gibson. I mean, there are like so many things going on with their apartment. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, the family's in crisis. Lethal Weapon. Yes, exactly. And like, here we are with this. And yep, the bathroom's out of order. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
It's a pin on his failings as a dad, and it's like, okay, got it, you know.
Yeah. There's one scene that I actually thought was pretty amusing where it was all of them at night and they're all in their own bedrooms and they're all watching their TV shows very loudly. And then you have a moment of this cacophony of all of the different TV shows like going over each other and like they're all representing like what they're interested in. I was like, okay, they are all in disharmony that way as well. But that whole thing is just cut completely. So yeah, we have no idea. The next morning when we see like little Billy, you know, with his vampire teeth or whatever, I'm just like, yeah, what's this fucking kid's problem?
Well, Chevy Chase is his dad. That's his problem. I will show my age because you guys haven't. Well, you've shown y'all's age, so I will show my age. Jason James Richter, otherwise known as the kid from Free Willy, plays the middle son.
Yeah, I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah, which is super weird because it is like a 180 from the character he plays in Free Willy. Because in Free Willy, which by the way, Free Willy also has one of the strangest instances of parent casting in a film. Do you guys want to guess who plays Jason James Richter's father in Free Willy, a children's film?
Isn't it like Michael Madsen or something?
It is Michael Madsen.
I remember watching that at the video store, like seeing the trailers over and over again.
Such a fucking weird. I mean, again, like the 90s. Like, oh, yeah, Michael Madsen, great. Can't wait for him to cut a guy's ear off and also talk about how much he loves whales.
Hey, he plays a sweet guy in Thelma and Louise, too. Come on.
That's true. Yeah. He was very nice in that.
Never seen it. Well, Ridley Scott and all that. I know it's a good Ridley Scott movie, but still. This movie, however, so Michael Ritchie directed one of my favorite movies of all time with Fletch. So I wasn't expecting this to be good. And I don't think in a lot of ways it is good. I find it to be, it's almost like National Lampoon's presents Stakeout because they're trafficking in Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold. But this is what happens when you don't know how to write that character. And this is what happens when you don't know how to write that character in an, it's a different problem. This is what happens when you only know how to write one half of the character, which is the annoying pratfalling moron part of it. You know, the hanging from the gutter, or, you know, the thing with the ball of lights, or the plugging in of the lights and it exploding, and, you know, all of that. Like, all of that, this movie nails. Chevy Chase playing the, like, moron father. Because who in their right mind is going to steal a cop's gun and badge and go arrest? Like, that's a fucking felony, bozo. Like, and now you go to jail, like in Cops and Robbersons. Okay,
arrest the bagel guy.
Yeah, all right, dude. Like, Jesus, like, hey, I need my caramel macchiato at Starbucks didn't have the caramel on top. Come to prison with me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a Karen. He's basically a Karen.
Which makes sense given that it's, you know, Chevy Chase. I'm not saying the real person. Can we talk about something? And I wanted to mention this because he's been showing up on my Facebook feed a lot. Chevy Chase, man, just seems to be out in the world, going around. He went to some like golf course in like the middle of nowhere and was like, hey, I'm Chevy Chase from Caddyshack. And the guy behind the counter was like, yeah, I recognize you. It was one of those moments where it's just like, man, fame has passed you by, bro. But it's okay. Chevy Chase, I think, seems a little bit more well-adjusted. And to see Chevy Chase and Randy Quaid in the same space together, and our universe hasn't ended, given the insanity between the two of them, or the egos, or God knows what. So I just wanted to mention, Chevy Chase seems very weird in his old age. Like, he doesn't understand, I don't know, maybe he's not famous anymore for most people. Only people that are coming to Christmas Vacation Con. And I mention all that because this movie feels very much like an actor trying to hold on to the last vestiges of what made them famous. Because
You're
this
talking about Jack Palance, right?
I say I haven't even gotten to Jack Palance yet. I think the worst part of this movie for me is Chevy Chase. I think his character is, again, it's Clark Griswold adjacent, but again, Clark Griswold as if they were being written by somebody who's not John Hughes. And that's saying something because John Hughes ain't exactly like the best writer ever in the history of comedy. I actually like Jack Palance a fair amount in this movie. I think he's probably the best part of the movie, him and Robert Davi. But again, Robert Davi. I like Robert Davi, so it's going to be hard for me to not, at least enjoy a performance by him, especially if it's one where he's just kind of just hamming it up the whole time. But
It was nice to see him be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked him.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he's a prick now
Yeah.
with all of his politics stuff and has been for probably 10 or more years.
20 years, I think, at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, he's great. I mean, he was kind of the best part of that James Bond movie that we talked about, in my opinion. And then, yeah, he can do comedy as well as action so well. But the thing is, he's barely here.
Yeah,
like, there
he's
are
not in it
great
enough.
swaths of the movie where they're supposed to be observing his house, and they're just not doing anything. I mean,
It's a family drama, Mike, about a family that's falling apart, and these two cops come keep them together.
Raymond Burr is in Rear Window more than Robert Davi is in this film.
Well, to your point, Chris, about the whole vacation-esque aspect of these movies, that you and I kind of differ on Clark Griswold. Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold as a dad, but this hammers your point home a lot more. His character in this movie, where it's like, I don't buy him as this dad. He's so awful and doesn't get his kids at all. And
Wait, you don't buy this?
but he doesn't seem to. I mean, he acts like he cares, but his actions, not fixing the toilet when they've got have to have this stupid. There's 5 people in this fucking house with one bathroom, so they've got the schedule, which comes into play later, and all this other stuff, and he just seems to ignore them for the most part and want to watch Dragnet or other old cop shows on video. Which brings me to the weirdest thing for me about this movie is they track him down at the video store.
He's a pervert too, by the way.
How the fuck would they know he's at the video store returning videos?
He's Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was nice to see a faux blockbuster video
Braille.
in here.
That's silly and braille. We call that bone. All right, Mr. Robertson, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
What was the point of? I don't understand.
It's like
It was for the joke of
right.
You guys are very serious about rewinding the tapes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I get that,
And then he drives the cops with him in the front seat and those two in the back seat. I'm like, what? What? It like drives them home after they go to the police station where Emmett Walsh shows up as the police chief. And thank goodness for that, because he's like the captain, I should say. He's the best part of this whole movie for me. And he's almost on screen as much as Robert Davi. Oh, okay. I guess they are hiding in the back seat. That's why. And then we have the hilarity of the garage door that joke doesn't stop. Isn't it funny?
Yes. Hilarious. Hilarity ensued even. I like the idea of, can I ask you guys, because you guys have wives and families and people that care about you. If you were to just have people come into your house, you'd tell your partner, right? You'd be like, hey, there's cops in our house because there's a stakeout next door. I don't control this and this is just happening, but let's just bear with them. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, just come to the house and stay here. And I'll closet. I'll wake up in the morning and tell them. I promise I'll be up.
That was so stupid and so shitty of him. I mean, does it
ass
just...
to ass, brother. Diane Wiest is ass to ass with that actor, like full on.
We call that a splashdown in this house.
Moon landing.
Moon landing. And when it's wet, we call it a splashdown. Yes. Yeah, it just goes to show what an asshole he is, and not an endearing asshole either. It's
no.
Yeah,
like I said, they're missing the endearing part of the Clark Griswold character.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest part of the character to write. That is the thing that is clear here. It is very clear that the hardest part of this to write is the part where we actually like the guy as opposed to just fucking hating him because he's an asshole. Because he's a fucking asshole in this movie. His family doesn't like him. We as the audience don't like him. He does stupid fucking things, like again stealing Jack Palance's gun and badge and then just going and being like, I'm a cop.
or going over to Robert Davi's house
and breaking in,
tearing up the mattress and ruining his $50 bill and all that. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And like, I know that he's getting some of this stuff from, he's ordering mattresses. Okay. Yeah. But he's ordering mattresses, I guess, to make almost like soundproofing in the house. I saw this thing on TV with a $50 bill or a $20 bill where you can use an eraser and it'll show if it's counterfeit. Why would Robert Davi have a counterfeit bill in his wallet? He sells those. He doesn't use those. So, yeah.
The film's logic is impermeable.
And I got to say, going back to that screenplay, all those little stupid Chevy Chase-isms, like where he will start to say a word and then change it, like he's from Buffalo. Yeah, like those kind of things, not in the screenplay. That is all Chevy Chase adding his hilarity to this.
Yeah, what about all those funny pratfalls, like at the end of the movie where they do the joke not once, not twice, but 3 times where he's swinging on that rope. They say
rule of threes. Yeah.
Too bad it's got to be funny any one of those fucking times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, like one of the funnier scenes in the movie is the scene at the beginning where the cops are just at the house and the family doesn't realize it. I like the idea that in what universe Diane Wiest and Chevy Chase must be taking showers together in the morning because she pats that guy right on the ass and is like, Norman. But I don't believe it. I don't believe that Diane Wiest and Chevy Chase are in love. Like, I don't believe that he's a dad of any of these children. Like, they're not a believable family. And can I point out that we are at the time right now in American cinema and television of like the family being an easy to write thing because it's all over pop culture. Like the 70s, 80s, and 90s are replete with like family drama and comedies like of this variety, of this caliber. They were probably shooting fucking Cool as Ice on this other lot of this, where the hell they shot this movie. That's how like stereotypical this movie feels in so many ways. It feels like, in a lot of ways you could, 5 years from now, this would be the Mr. Bean movie. You know what I mean? Like two house guests come to the house. What is their job? We don't know. Fill in the blank, but that'll continue the hilarity. Like, okay, like house guest movies are, or I guess if you want to consider this a house guest movie, I would. It's a kind of house guest movie. Like they are very formulaic. This is a very formulaic movie, and it never gets out of its own way either in how formulaic it is, which in my mind is the real problem. Like, other than Chevy Chase just being, once again, a black hole of anything, like anything.
Are you talking about 1995 cinematic classic House Guest starring Sinbad?
I have seen that film. I may be talking about that film with Phil Hartman and Sinbad.
Or the classic film House Sitter with Goldie Hawn and Steve Martin.
How about a real deep cut for you? You know what this movie really reminded me of? This movie reminded me of a housebound version of the David Paymer Tom Arnold vehicle, if you catch my drift, Carpool.
Very nice.
Yeah. Again, like a X goes into Y. Y is inconvenienced the whole film by X. X and Y become friends by the end of the movie and come to an agreement and an understanding. That's Carpool. That's this movie. That's House Guest. Like, yeah. I it's not that I wanted to like this movie, but this movie doesn't do a whole lot to get anybody to be engaged in any substantive way. Even the actors seem fucking disinterested.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides the family aspect being missed completely, they don't get the stakeout stuff either.
No, they're barely watching out that window.
Well, and who sits in front of an open window?
Right.
That's about 20 feet away from the other window and it happens in the film. He looks when Chevy Chase is, who are you waving to? And, oh,
just my house. Hi, house. Hi.
they're not being very sneaky about it. The blinds are up, the window's open the whole time. Like you don't think you're ever going to get caught. I don't know. It was just, no. Written by a 12-year-old.
It does feel like it was written by a child. Like everything about it just feels like I watched this on an episode of something else, and I'm just trying to blow it up and blow it up into an entire hour and a half long film. Hour and a half, 93 minutes.
They don't hit his obsession with cop shows hard enough.
No,
they sure
it's in there in bits and pieces, and you get it. You understand that that's a thing, but it's got to be like a full on
to do what he does. Yeah. To go full fucking like felony committing moron.
Yeah, they've got that moment when he's at the office and the guy makes a reference to like a Beretta episode, and he was like, "Oh yeah, well it was this, and this episode of Beretta." And then the clock hits 12, and they all stand up, and they're all wearing the same suits and stuff. And I was like, "Okay, well that's interesting. This whole like corporate America, and like he should be sticking out somehow from the rest of these guys, other than you cast a guy who's shorter than him." I mean, I know Chevy Chase is a tall man, but you cast a guy that's shorter than him so that he literally stands out that way, that you can tell that it's Chevy Chase walking amongst this crowd. But it's like, make him different some other way. Like, make him the weirdo of the office or something. Like, give him a different color sports jacket than everybody else is wearing. You get like a little bit of Barnaby Jones. You get him just watching television. And then you were talking about the music. Like, as he is arresting the guy at the diner, I'm hearing little beats from Hawaii Five-0, and then I was like, oh, well, that's kind of clever. But then the scene ends with a literal Bookham Dano. I was like, you're fucking kidding me.
Well, guys, come on. Hawaii Five-0. Famous cop show.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Mike, you said you have the script for this film, right?
Yeah.
If we could take that script, feed it into Chat GPT, say, just out of curiosity, and say, Chat GPT, could you rewrite this film? Do you think it would fix it? Is there a way to fix this movie? Because I'm always so curious now when we watch things. Like, we always talk about why things are the way that they are and our feelings on things. But like, could you make this a better movie without fixing the script? I mean, or is the script the real issue?
I honestly feel like it's Chevy Chase that is the issue with this. I honestly thought that the script was pretty good. And I could see this being picked up, and which it was, it was a spec script basically, and they picked it up and turned it into a movie. And I was like, okay, this script isn't that bad. I think it was some of the changes that they made, and then the Chevy Chase problem.
I mean, guys, he loves cop shows. He was wearing a Mod Squad sweater at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Mod Squad. Who the fuck is this movie made for? Because it's making references to things that people who would be watching this movie would not get. Because is this a kid's movie?
I mean, it feels a lot like a kid's movie. This feels like one of those safe family comedies that you could put on at Christmas time and everybody would be okay watching it.
One of the great films of the holidays, says the Dove Company.
I mean, they're doing that basically right now with like, oh, we're going to release Stranger Things during these holidays. We're going to release the new Benoit Blanc film during the holidays. And I'm just like, that's just for people who don't want to talk to each other at Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's.
That's right.
So it's basically like last year going over to my relatives and they were watching Home Alone 2. And I'm like, okay, cool. Knock yourselves out, guys. I've never seen this movie before. I don't really want to see this movie. But yeah, if you guys need this to distract you from talking to each other, it would be perfect for that or Cops and Robbersons.
It's too bad you didn't offer to watch the better of the Home Alone films, Home Alone 3, starring at least one of the members of the cast from Twin Peaks. I think that one of the weird guy that like likes Laura Flynn Boyle a lot. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. The weird guy with the black hair, the kind of waifish.
James?
He's in Home Alone 3. I don't really like children's programming. However, I will say I love that this is what amounted to like movies for families in the 90s, because this shit is wild. If you think about it, like they wouldn't be making movies like this for families anymore. Like they're making different kinds of movies. But this kind of stuff with like seemingly real world stakes and like money counterfeiters in the house next to you, and like it just that kind of stuff, yeah, they kind of tend to stay away from that now in a like family or like family friendly setting, because that's the other thing. Like, this is meant to be a family friendly film ostensibly, but there's a lot of guns and guns being pointed at people. I would like to point out, because Mike always says that I mention it, you can't put a suppressor on a desert fucking eagle. It's a 50 caliber handgun. That's a bullet this big. Nothing you put on the end of that gun is like Robert Davi just has a Desert Eagle with a suppressor on it, and the only reason you would have that is because it looks hilarious. But I didn't understand. I didn't even understand the scene with the watermelon. Was he going to shoot the watermelon with the gun?
He is. It's. I thought it was an homage to. Oh gosh, what's the name of that movie? Day of the Jackal, where they take the guns out into the forest. And they've got all the melons, and he's shooting all these melons to basically say like, this is Charles de Gaulle. But in this one, this is Lutz, the character that we hear about, but we don't see for the longest time. And I guess he has to prove that if he takes somebody down to the basement, has all these mattresses around, and shoots them with this Desert Eagle with the suppressor on it, that none of the neighbors will complain, unless the shitty son who is just desperate to smoke is outside. And again, another screenplay change. He actually catches that kid and threatens that kid. It's not just the cat jumps on the window and he thinks that it's the cat that makes a noise.
That kid's an OG unk, bro. Rolling fucking cigarillos by hand. Holy shit.
I feel like him and the girl from Face Off would really get along very well, like the daughter. Yeah. As long as she doesn't stick that butterfly knife in his leg and twist it.
I like the idea that in this movie we have, oh my God, we just have things happening that are so insane that, again, like it can only happen in a movie, right? Like the idea of them staking out Chevy Chase's house is verifiably nut, right? Like they would just be outside in a van or something.
Mm-hmm.
And because that is such a contrivance, nothing else feels remotely within a realm of reality. And I get it. Like, we can suspend disbelief as much as we like, but the movie does like to exist within a firm reality, right? Like it's trying to. It's not trying to be like over the top. You don't have characters pointing guns at children and expect the movie to be kind of a flight of fancy. It is trying to ground itself somewhat in reality, but I don't know what the 90s obsession with like mixing cop things with like or criminals with like family films. It's just, like I said, Carpool or House Guest, like another examples of just movies that are just kind of tonally weird when you have a man with a shotgun pointing it at like a 5-year-old threatening to shoot them.
I don't know if this was the 90s versions of propaganda or not, because you also had all of the cops that were paired with little kids, like Burt Reynolds with Cop and a Half, or like, what was the one with oh God, why am I blanking on even the actor's name? The guy who when he goes swimming, water gets him instead of him getting wet. Chuck Norris, like he was in a movie with a kid as well. I mean, it was just like kids or dogs, we're just like pairing cops up with dogs or little kids. And this is kind of the same thing. Now it's a cop with a funny family that has all of their problems, and the cops have to solve those as well as solving all the rest, or prompt the family to solve their own problems. And there's not that many problems. I mean, everybody in the family seems to get along. You got that little weirdo who thinks that he's a vampire, but whatever, kids go through phases. And then it's fucking Chevy Chase is the problem.
Yeah. Just shoot Chevy.
Yeah.
Shoot him right in the face.
Yeah.
Shoot the guy, just blow his brains out.
Toss him in the backyard. The family
bury him.
Goes about their day.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even miss him.
And never have to worry about it again.
And they can finish their stakeout.
Yeah.
Without him going over and jumping Robert Davi's car.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it is a real for me, it's kind of a wasted opportunity for Diane Wiest. It would have been better had she been a single mom trying to raise this family. Then it would have been a little bit more, and it also would have been a little bit more Lost Boys that way too. And then Jack Palance, I know he was kind of on his second career here. This was post City Slickers. This is I don't know if this was post City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold. Actually, I think it was the same year. But like, I like that they make the little reference to the one-handed push-ups that they do in that montage of photos at the end, which look so incredibly fake most of the time. And I'm like, you couldn't get all of these people together in the same room to put on these costumes and actually have these photos taking place rather than just doing a bad, I can't say Photoshop. Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, oh, we have to have a better ending for this, so we'll do it this way. And then, what the fuck, man? Like, hey, Mike Ritchie, this is Chevy Chase speaking. I have my friend, Paul Simon, who I was just in his music video for a little while ago, and we're close friends. Why don't we use Kodachrome at the end of this, which has nothing to do with anything in the rest of the movie other than we could take some photos and put those at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
And by the way, I know that. Yeah. And by the way, I know that Jack Palance never really went away, and I know like his role in Batman in '89 was pretty big, and of course Tango and Cash the same year. But I know that City Slickers really helped bring him back.
It made a lot of younger people aware of this old guy that if you weren't watching old 50s westerns and noir and stuff, you wouldn't have any idea who this. I knew who he was because of the show That's Incredible. No.
Oh God, yes.
Ripley's Believe It or Not. No,
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
His
those
very
pauses.
attractive daughter.
Oh yeah, exactly. Jack, you are my number one.
I was aware of him because of that. I don't know that I even knew that he was in old movies at that point, but maybe I did.
Oh yeah. God, him and the big knife. I mean, he just looks, that face was such a noir face, or like Panic in the Streets. I love those sharp angles of him. And as he got older, it kind of like mellowed out a little bit, but he still had a great, great face. And he was kind of like he's kind of like then what Clint Eastwood is now. Like he could play the really crabby old man in a great, great way, but with more menace, I would say. Even more menace than Clint Eastwood had in like Gran Turismo with the whole "get off my lawn" kind of stuff.
It's the face. I mean, he looks like he's been beat to hell and survived.
Oh God, yes. Mm-hmm.
The man, the myth, the leather-faced bag man, Jack Palance. I mean,
he looks like a Dick Tracy villain without the need for makeup.
Yeah, he does.
What's the famous Western he's in?
Big Moon Over the Prairie.
Shane, yeah. He's just an evil.
He's so good in that. Yeah. And then Diane Wiest, I love her. She was in some great. I mean, she's always been great, but like this was around the time that she was in like Parenthood and stuff. She was so awesome in that. Yeah, I love her so much, especially in things like Hannah and Her Sisters. I mean, anytime that she was working with I hate to say it, but anytime that she worked with Woody Allen, it was always such a treat.
Yeah. I mean, I love her kookiness, which just is not apparent here at all. That's why I was just kind of like, I don't really care for her in this, or care for her character, I guess I should say.
Yeah. Well, it's like she has that moment towards the beginning where she has a little bit of just a tiny speech about like how well she's running the family.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best moment of the whole movie for me.
Well, and it leads to that whole thing of his ineffectiveness, but it also kind of makes her crabby because I don't know if it's because maybe you're set up to think that Chevy Chase is a good guy because he plays lovable Clark Griswold in other movies. I don't know. It just came across as naggy and bitchy to me. And she has a good point. I mean, he's obviously not doing the stuff around the house that he needs to be doing, like fixing the toilet that's been broken for God knows how long. But I don't know. She has that freak out moment And I was like, oh, this is unpleasant. When they're both leaving and she kind of explains why she's frustrated. And it makes sense, but it played as I don't know, just it rubbed me the wrong way, the way it played out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Diane Wieston much, but I did see her last year in Practical Magic.
Oh yeah. She's so delightful in that.
Right. She's great in that. Like this is a complete undercut of that. And I guess I didn't realize there's a Practical Magic 2 coming out next year.
Oh yeah.
Great. Where's Cops and Robbersons 2 coming out? That's my question.
I mean, it's so weird that like it takes so long for this thing to get going. And then once it does, like once Davi discovers like, oh, these two guys are hanging out over at Chevy Chase's house, and I don't really believe that this one's the brother and this one's the boyfriend of the girl, he disappears from the film. Like suddenly it becomes this whole movie of just, now we need to mellow Jack Palance out, and we need to show like his relationship with the family. We need to show him mowing the lawn. We need to show him and Chevy Chase having a sing-along and all this kind of stuff. And it just goes on for so long before Davi even comes back. I think there's a half an hour of this movie where there is no Robert Davi.
Yeah. And you know what? Can I say with zero insincerity, I'm being completely sincere here, the scene with Jack Palance and Chevy Chase singing together was rather nice. That might have been the best part of the entire movie, and it might be one of the best things we've seen on this entire podcast. It actually felt like a real moment. It's inside of this kind of like whacked out of its mind family comedy from the 90s, but I liked that moment. That was nice. It doesn't go anywhere, and it has no... I mean, there's a payoff at the end where it's like, oh, now they're part of the family. He's actually Uncle Jake. Like, okay, yeah, we get, like, the moment they said it, we knew that was then going to be the case by the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of would have been nice if they had just left and was like, I never want to see your family again. Don't ever show your face around town.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing, to your point, Mark, that's funny, is like, it's so predictable. It's so predictable the moment they're like, well, this is our Uncle Jack. Like, oh, he's going to be part of their lives for the rest of his life. Like, oh, that's her boyfriend. Like, oh, he's actually going to be her boyfriend. Like,
yeah,
that's how, our dear friend Richard Haddam of Richard Haddam's Paranormal Bookshelf. You're welcome, Richard. That was a freebie. He always talks about planting and payoff. And like, that's what that is. Like, oh, the toilet's broken. Like you said, Morgan, at some point Jack Palance is going to have to fix it. And then he'll be the hero of the family and it'll endear him to everyone. But he's a tough cookie. And on his birthday, they can't melt his cool exterior. Like, who fucking did ChatGPT write this? Because it is that just like, it hits all the beats. And they're not particularly exciting beats. They're not particularly interesting beats. Other things, like we've already talked about, have done it better. It's just the novelty of Chevy Chase and Jack Palance. But they don't do enough with that. And that's a weird thing to not do enough with. Because again, we're experiencing Chevy Chase a la mid-90s, not Chevy Chase, mid-80s. I think this movie, imagine if this movie had been as well written as Fletch. Still directed by Michael Ritchie, still has Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase can turn in a good performance. I don't know, would it have worked better if Chevy Chase had been like the sidekick to Jack Palance's cop? And Diane Wiest is just the woman whose house they're staking out? And so it's like the three of them. It's like, oh, what an odd couple. And then Diane Wiest and Chevy Chase fall in love by the end of the movie, which might work if you do it that way. Maybe that's the better way of doing it. And like you've already mentioned, Diane Wiest is like a single mother, so Chevy Chase has to like endear himself to her kids.
He's got to act like a dad, which he isn't, right? He's a single guy,
put upon
cop,
yeah.
and he doesn't know how to act around kids or be a husband. He's got to cook a meal for them or do the shopping.
Right.
So
and Jack Palance is like
out of water
to like lead him along to help him, like, because he sees that Chevy Chase is able to do that and that there's a benefit to it. Yeah, we could write this movie right now. Yeah, like, and you want to actually have like a little like emotional moment. Like there's moments in there that you could really mine from what we're talking about, where it's just like, oh, and then you could have a moment where Chevy Chase sits down and talks with the son about smoking, or talks with the daughter. What? It's like, fuck this movie. Like, why are you so lazy, movie? Like, you're not even thinking it through. We're sitting here in 5 minutes and thinking it through. I'm not claiming our movie would be better, but our movie would at least have some more stakes to it and would traffic in, once again, what Chevy Chase is actually good at versus what I think people are perceiving his abilities are at this point. I'm not sure what they think his abilities are, but I mean, look, he can still turn in a good performance. I think. I don't think he's beyond reproach at this point.
No. Well, and ostensibly, this is supposed to be a comedy. And I don't really remember laughing at all during this thing. It's just, it doesn't hit the jokes. It's more cringe than anything. Every time that Chevy Chase is on screen and he's going to Davi's house or he's trying to arrest the guy at the diner, like all of that is just so cringe through the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of his shtick, I guess, is to be a jerk and to just be clueless. But I mean, give me something. Give me some funny moments here. Give me some good misunderstandings. I think the closest I came to perhaps a chuckle, or definitely not a chortle, was the bathroom thing with Diane Wiest and the young guy. It's like the young guy is just, he's nothing. Like so many of these characters are nothing. Like the middle son, he just wants to smoke. That's about it. Like there's nothing else that really tells us anything about these characters.
Yeah, I think that's why that idea that Chris came up with would work a lot better.
Way better. Yes.
Why couldn't they have Chevy Chase as the cop partner? Like that, on top of everything else, that would be a mixing of something that was taking place in the 80s with those like, hey, it's Jay Leno and Pat Morita in a movie together. Like, what the fuck? What cocaine bender was someone on to come up with that whacked out idea? This seems like within the scope and scheme of that. Jack Palance, Western star, Chevy Chase, West Coast dickhead. Put them together as cops, put them on a stakeout. What the fuck is so hard about that? Like, why is that so hard?
I will tell you a much better movie. We were talking before we started recording, and we mentioned Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox and James Woods, The Hard Way, I think the movie was. Michael J. Fox, asshole actor who comes to shadow James Woods as the hard-bitten cop. Way better movie than something like this. Sorry, I think I cut you off, Mark.
No, I was just going to say this is a fish out of water film without a fish out of water. And
True.
Chris's idea would make Chevy Chase the fish out of water.
Exactly.
He's supposed to be a fish out of water in this, but he's just the annoying guy who thinks he can do this stuff because he watches Dragnet and Mod Squad and Hawaii Five-0. And I guess was a dream of his maybe to be a cop. So yeah, just make him a cop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now he's got to play dad instead of him being a dad and playing cop.
Yeah, I was reading some of the reviews of this, like Roger Ebert. One more variation on the fish out of water theme, so called because the plot involves a fish out of water. He singled out a scene in which Chevy Chase's character Norman Roberson smuggles police officers into his home and snatches a cat from his wife Helen, commenting, "Funny? Yes. No? Lucille Ball could pull off moments like that because you could almost believe she was that desperate and scatterbrained. Desi Arnaz could almost be fooled in such a moment because Lucy always had it confused anyway. But Norman and Helen Roberson, watching the movie, I knew I was supposed to laugh, but all I can think of was, what did the people making the movie think about this scene while they were filming it? Anything?"
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, what
Roger.
was supposed to be funny in this movie? That's why
He throws a cat in the closet, and it's going to attack Jack Palance, who is notoriously mean, right?
Yes.
But
And
Jack Palance
nonsense.
loves pussy.
That's true.
He's a mad
Maybe
pussy
true.
magnet.
And
I mean, look at the way that cat's grabbing his leg.
And like this
That real cat.
That real cat. Yeah, look at that real cat go.
God, yeah.
I've seen more convincing cats driving cars on SNL.
Totally Toonses, yes.
Totally. By the way, Mike, there it is. Our $1 million idea. Totally Toonses. We're
Totally
bringing him
Toonses.
back.
And then this was viewed as being a success by a lot of people because this was coming on the heels of his very ill-fated talk show. that
Right.
what was it? It only lasted a few episodes before it got canceled. Like
yeah.
way sooner than I would think. Now, stick with me. They should have given it more of a shot. It was horrible, and I've seen videos, and the videos are, talk about cringe comedy. It is all cringe, and he was a terrible talk show host. But Jimmy Fallon exists, and Jimmy Fallon is still on the air.
James Corden had a show,
James
motherfuckers.
Corden was out there. Yeah. Michael, sorry, not Michael Jordan. Magic Johnson had a talk show. Oh my God.
Hey.
Sajak had a talk show. This was
Ellen,
not.
my brother, Drew
Jesus.
Barrymore, Kelly Clarkson, for fuck's sake.
Fucking Rosie O'Donnell with her fake crush on Tom Cruise, where I'm just like, girl, you are the biggest lesbian on television. Quit pretending that you like Tom Cruise.
Big lesbian, huge lesbian.
Oh, yeah. It was just, I mean, people were just like, oh, well, yeah, at least this is better than the talk show. And I'm like, yeah, faint praise.
Hey, well, and to be fair, I would like to point out, even though I'm sure they will not be listening to this episode, I'd like to thank the person who left us a review about our show. I only mention this because they said that, quote, we should be canceled just like the Chevy Chase podcast or the Chevy Chase TV show. I'd like to point something out to you. For those of you that don't know how the podcast medium works, it doesn't work that way. Go fuck yourselves. I don't know what else to tell you. The nice thing about a free and open platform is I can say that to you and you can't do anything about it. So, and if you don't like it, go listen to something else because if you find this to be boring, maybe, and I might point this out to you, maybe Cops and Robbersons is your favorite movie.
I mean, every movie is somebody's
Funny
favorite
Money
movie. Yeah.
Or Funny Money. Yeah, Mark, that's what it was. Our hatred of Funny Money put it over the edge for them. That's what I'd like to believe now. That they were just like,
I think that's.
they don't like Funny Money?
It.
What's the deal? Armando Santi is so funny. That's such a funny way to make fun of the people that make fun of the stuff that we do, is just make it seem like they just love bad things, and then it's just then it's on them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is the worst thing we've watched for this show, given that Funny Money does exist.
No, that's the thing. It's like I just sat there, watched it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what it is. And I have a feeling that Man of the House is going to be the exact same thing.
Man of the House is a Disney movie, though. That's the thing. Like, Man of the House is actually a Disney movie, and it's Jonathan Taylor Thomas. So it's not like it's actually like, and it's I think it's Farrah Fawcett too. Like, it's actually like, again, if you're gonna have a movie made in the 90s and it's gonna be a live action family movie, I don't think I'd want anybody making it other than Disney. Really, like, I go back to some of the movies that I still watch as an adult that are from the 90s that are live action. The Santa Claus is a genuinely good movie. It is a vehicle film for Tim Allen as a single dad opposite a kid actor doing, again, like that's a little bit more in Santa Claus. He sure is. He's divorced. He's divorced from his wife. That's like the whole thing. Yeah. The whole thing of that movie is like he's divorced and he's like getting his son, like he only has his son, like, he has his
Judge
son.
holds the other man.
Yeah, and Neil's head point. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I would rather have Disney making a movie. If Disney had made this movie, it might have worked. But I'm thinking, because I have seen Man of the House, I think Man of the House is going to be what this movie is not, which is a somewhat decent family-leaning Chevy Chase film. Because I don't think he's unable to be that, because he is in Snow Day as the dad in Snow Day, and he doesn't make a complete fool of himself there. So he's capable of doing it. Whether or not he's capable of carrying the entire movie, I guess, remains to be seen. But the fact that it's a Disney film, or I guess it's probably, what's the thing with the Sphinx? Hollywood Pictures.
Yeah.
It's either that or Buena Vista, I think, but it's Disney. That's the one thing where I'm like, I think we're probably going to have a little bit of a better time. And for whatever reason, I remember just seeing the trailer for that movie a lot. It was probably attached to some VHS I watched a lot as a kid. But I know that
coming soon on VHS.
Yeah, George Wendt is in the movie as well, I believe.
Huh. All right.
So there's there's possibilities, but this movie again, like, it's just, this movie's not being made in in good faith is what it felt like. Like it just kind of felt like, hey, go write this script, shop it around and see who's interested.
It just feels to me that I'm probably going to laugh as much watching that movie as I did watching this movie, which is barely at all. It feels like that one is going to be, okay, what if the middle son were the main character?
It's funnier than that. It's funny, I promise. It should
Okay.
be. It should be. This I did not expect this movie to be good, but this movie we had to cover because this is again like this is a Chevy Chase vehicle movie in the most like obvious of obvious ways, like Chevy, Palance. They don't even call him Chase on the poster. They call him Chevy.
Right. Yeah. That I found that very odd that it wasn't his last name.
Chevy and Jack. It wasn't that. It was Chevy
No.
and Palance.
Palance. Yeah.
How do we
Okay.
feel? How do we feel about the poster?
Yeah, poster's fine. I mean, it's kind of classic with Palance with that sideways grin and then Chevy with his finger gun. Yeah. I mean,
Looking like a smug prick.
looking like a smug prick. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of hitting the cop angle a little too. That looks like a gritty 90s cop movie, like Along Came a Spider or something. I don't know.
Oh God, those Ashley Judd films. We could do a whole series just on those Ashley
The
Judd.
Alex Cross or Alex Cross adjacent films.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, she was in like 4 or 5 things that all just run together in my mind.
Can you imagine if this movie had been what the poster is selling, where it's like actually like somewhat of a hard-boiled film? Like, what the fuck? Who was going to see that movie if that was the expectation on top of everything else? Like, Chevy Chase known for being in hard-boiled cop films.
Well, I've seen various versions of this poster, by the way. So there's the one I'm used to is the sky blue one.
Yeah, the cop one.
Yeah, it's very like sedate. And then there's the one that's on IMDb for the default where they're all colored blue and everything. Like their physical forms are blue and they're against a black background. I'm like, yeah, that's way too heavy for what this movie is. More of like clouds and funny kind of thing would be much better.
You know what? I think we've done this on the show before, but Along Came a Spider is not one of the Ashley Judd movies. This is the one with Monica Potter.
Ah,
and Morgan Freeman, but Ashley Judd is in one of those with Morgan Freeman. Might be Kiss the Girls,
Kiss the Girls,
like
and Make Them Die. Yes,
I'm much more of a fan of one of the international titles of the film, which is Glenariads with Rodzini. Which I don't know what Rodzini means, but Gliniazars is like police officer. So I'm assuming that the title's maybe like police officer with moron is probably or maybe Rodzini is Roberson, but does the title make sense in any other country or context to put it that way? Right, like
no.
Robbers is a very American phrase.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I mean,
British.
I mean, I don't even think that the British call them cops. I mean, they call them bobbies. Right?
Bobbies, yeah.
But I mean, if that's even true, that could be just made up.
So Rodzini means domestic violence.
Oh, very nice.
So it's like it's like a cop with like domestic like life or like domesticity, I guess. Like, okay,
that makes sense.
I mean, in Poland, if you're really wanting to watch this movie, I guess that the selling point of the movie is probably the poster and not the poorly translated film title. So
it was. I mean, it's so sad to see where Michael Ritchie's career went to when he was so good in the 1970s, things like The Candidate or Smile, Bad News Bears, even Prime Cut or Downhill Racers. And then, I mean, I still say that The Survivors from '83 is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I even like Wildcats. I even liked The Golden Child, and I know not a lot of people did, but my God, did he just, the movie after this, we talked about Albert Brooks recently, Chris, and the movie after this is The Scout, which I haven't seen.
It's a Heath Frazier movie.
Yes, and Diane Wiest is in there as well. But like these movies of like Cops and Robbersons, and I have seen Diggstown, The Couch Trip is infamous for just being horrible, and I've tried to watch it multiple times. Again, Dan Aykroyd, Walter Matthau, Charles Grodin. I don't think that's the one where the screenwriter tried to take his name off of it. I think that was another Aykroyd film from around the same time. But oof, man, he really went downhill quickly and then passed away in 2001, unfortunately. But I loved Michael Ritchie's 70s work.
It's too bad we don't get to do any more Michael Ritchie films because I just was reminded of the film A Simple Wish, which is that movie with Martin Short, where he acts like he acts like Yahoo Serious, like a crazy person the whole film.
He's a fairy godfather, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I have a hard time with this movie because I really, 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 really like Fletch. Yeah. And The Island is not good either, by the way. I watched that last year, 2 years ago. That movie was pretty fucking bad.
And I will go to bat once again. I know I've already done it on the show because we have talked about Michael Ritchie with the other Fletch films. I will go to bat for Survivors because that is a childhood favorite of mine.
All right. Maybe I need to rewatch it.
I watched it a couple of years ago. I think it popped up on one of our cable channels and I was like, oh, I remember watching this a ton as a kid or teenager, I guess, by that point, and really, really enjoying it. And it still worked for me. So I throw that in to the mix of his films that I've enjoyed watching.
I guess in my mind, the thing that bums me out the most is this is the only other time he works with Chevy Chase after Fletch Lives, which Fletch Lives is a much better movie than this. Like Fletch, there's laughs in Fletch Lives. There's moments in Fletch Lives where I'm like, oh, this is still a somewhat decent movie. This movie really lacks that. It lacks even because like you said, Mike, like, oh, we're not a whole lot of laughs in this movie. Like, not really. And so why is Chevy Chase even in this movie then? Like, why is this a comedy? Why are we doing the comedy thing when we're not investing in what I perceive to be actually writing comedic bits? Because a bunch of people pratfalling on each other is not funny. And at this point, it's not even funny when Chevy Chase does, which we have lamented that as well, that was a lot of the early stuff. There was like the pratfalling, bozo, physical comedy.
Never funny to me. It's never funny to me.
Yeah, at this point, I'm with you, Mark. I'm like, I could just take it or leave it.
I know I've said it from practically the beginning. I mean, even when we talked about foul play on my show, that just does not work for me. I don't know what it is about physical comedy in that way, but falling down bits just don't tickle my funny bone. And they might for other people, like a whole bunch, but for me, it just doesn't equate to laughs at all. So whenever it happens in these movies, and it almost always does, there are only a few examples where we didn't get any of that. It never lands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Schwarzenegger post Terminator. Why is this in everything? Like, is that part of Chase's shtick? I thought it was him just being a smart ass. Like, I thought it was just him.
What he falls back on.
Exactly.
No pun intended, but boy,
yeah,
he needs
unintended.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go to slip and fucking fall school because it's not funny anymore. Like, and I'm not sure it ever was. I guess that's the question in my mind is like, was it ever funny? Was that ever the thing that Chevy Chase was known for? Or was that just the thing that was part and parcel with the shtick?
Mm-hmm.
The over exaggerated pratfalls that he did on SNL, most, particularly playing Gerald Ford, who was known as a clumsy person.
But that's a caricature then of someone.
Right.
Continue.
That's the point I'm getting to is that was the gag, that it was over exaggerated, that it was based on this real person. And then it just kept going and going and leaked into the movies. It could have just stayed on Saturday Night Live, but it was what would get him laughs.
And it racked him up. I mean, we were talking about the moment in European Vacation where he jumped on the bed and apparently like it fucked up his back and he's like, been addicted to painkillers for back pains and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Was it worth it, Chevy?
Yes.
I don't know. He does. He is in a wheelchair a lot now. So
that's true.
No. Yeah.
It was all worth it. Yeah. It's like that Gamora meme, what did it cost you? Everything.
Pratfalling constantly cost me my career. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this to be something grand, but I think I was disappointed even more by this movie than I was expecting to be. And I know I had seen this in the 90s or probably in the 2000s at some point, because I've seen this before, but
Never seen.
because it reminds me so much of everything else like this, I couldn't tell you a specific plot point before we watched it that couldn't have just been from something like Cool as Ice or any of those other movies like this one, where it's like, what's the other one with Pauly Shore?
The son-in-law?
Yeah, same fucking thing.
Mhm.
Just same thing. You know, I'm surprised we never got an Adam Sandler movie like that in the 90s. We never did. Like, Adam Sandler never did like a fish out of, I guess Mr. Deeds, maybe, I guess a little bit. But like,
But
this
that's
is
actually a really good film.
I know. I was gonna say, Mr. Deeds is like a funny movie, and you know, this movie wishes it could even be the first 5 minutes of Mr. Deeds. Like, there's not a single laugh in this movie, other than I guess no, there is one. The one for me was when Chevy Chase, and this again probably now because I smoke a shitload of weed, but I also love hearing Chevy Chase go, he was from Rastafaria, while he has like a rolling paper on his tongue. Like, that was funny, and that was about it.
I would, going back to Adam Sandler, Billy Madison could be considered fish out of water, having to go back to school.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in kindergarten. That's as a
true.
grown person.
And Darren McGavin is in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, good Lord. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But hey, even that movie's, for as much as I kind of have problems with Billy Madison, because that movie is obnoxious, because his character in that movie is obnoxious. That's still a funnier movie than this one. I watched that movie recently and have laughed at it, which I was surprised by because I don't really particularly engage with that movie. But Mark, I understand your frustration, but I think I am glad that this podcast is coming into the station, because you know, I don't think any of us is surprised, though, that this is what's happening and that this is how this is played out. I mean, that this was kind of the expectation, and it wasn't it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to get worse as we went along, especially when we exited the 80s. We weren't going to be hitting seems like old times or Caddyshack levels of enjoyment ever again.
No.
Just it's been mainly the last 3 or 4 episodes. This wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be our next review. That's
Yeah.
as bad as I thought it
Not as bad as I thought it would be. Yep. That's very much my review for this one as well, Mark.
That should be the name of a
It's-
fucking show, is just not as bad as I thought. Reviewing mediocre movie.
Mhm.
God.
Yeah. I mean, that's been this show for at least 10 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, if you're bitching about the show being boring because the movies we're talking about are bad, I get it. But we've had nothing but, I think, chuckle times for the last like couple episodes, because we've just been aghast by most of the movies we've been watching, including Funny
And-
Money.
Yeah. It's
Can we
been
wrap
nothing
this
but
up?
trouble.
Can we wrap this up on Do Back in My Mom's Basement?
Oh, there you go. Nice. Nice.
Is that where you wait? That's where you are right now. Why are you-
Whoops, sorry.
Why are you pretending you're doing anything else like you actually are a real person?
Hey, to quote Zodiac, there aren't very many basements in California.
That's true.
It's true. There aren't a lot of basements in that. So the funniest thing about that statement is one of us does record in our basement.
That's true.
That's true.
Though I own this house, I pay the
Don't
mortgage.
live in the basement.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, and I have a house with a basement. I just don't record there, motherfuckers. So
Mm.
joke's on you.
Well, like the Zodiac Killer, unlike the Zodiac Killer, I don't have a basement. So
Mm.
so you say.
Mm.
I won't believe it until I come to
Yes,
your
I-
house and see that you don't have a basement you live in where you talk about these movies.
He has a crawl space
Right.
yeah, not even that.
filled with young boys, just like
Like Daisy
like John Gacy. Yeah.
or Dean Coral. Either way, take your pick.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least the guy here in Michigan was, putting him under concrete.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of Dean Coral, we just blasted through Mindhunter with my daughter. Man, I would
Nice.
love that show.
Man, talk about
Yeah. And wait
show
for that third season. Wow. It's
Son
gonna be great.
of a bitch.
How
How could you, Mike?
Don't get me started.
Yeah, where's that 4th season of Hannibal while we're at it, too? Give me the 4th season Hannibal and the 3rd season of Mindhunt. And a remake of Cops and Robbersons starring Kevin Hart and The Rock. And
Oh,
we'll call
there you
it
go.
Cops and Rockersons.
There you go. I'm surprised that hasn't actually happened.
I, honest to God,
It's
just
funny
keep
because
pitching-
they're different sizes.
Right, get it? I just keep pitching every single movie as a reboot with just Kevin Hart and The Rock. Like Jingle All the Way would be a funny movie with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Of course.
I mean, You know,
Makes sense to me.
yeah, right. I mean, buddy cops. Though I would say at this point, probably give me Jason Momoa and somebody. Who's Jason Momoa paired up? Because I think
Jack
Jason.
Black.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I would watch Cops and Robertsons with Jason Momoa as the gruff cop and Jack Black as the family man. That would work. I could see that. Ed Helms. There you go. Ed Helms and Jason Momoa. There you go.
As long as it's not Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Fuck that
Yeah,
guy.
you need to watch some.
You really need to watch Ted Lasso. Like, why do you hate this man so much? If you've only seen Ted Lasso, you would love him.
Every time we put on Apple TV Plus, it's like continue watching, and it's S1, E1 of Ted Lasso. We stopped after the first one.
It's
good.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't like
my wife or I like him.
if you don't like him and you've watched Ted Lasso, then yeah, you're not. Probably we're preaching to the choir here. You're not going to like it. So,
Anyway.
anything else we want to talk about with this movie before I plug the next one?
No.
See if I have any brilliant.
Wrap. We got Richard waiting for us
Yeah. So on the next episode of the Chasing Chevy Chase podcast, as we've already alluded to, we will be talking about Man of the House, a Disney film starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas, teen heartthrob at the time. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTT to his friends. Until then, where can people find you and the things that you work on, Mark Begley?
You can find my other two shows, Cameron Dermashon and Wake Up Heavy, over on weirdingwaymedia.com.
What about you, Mike White?
Yeah, same thing. I'm on Cable Gym with Sean once a month with Mark Begley, and our show's over at weirdingwaymedia.com.
Okay, give me some listeners over there, and they go, "Where the fuck is Mike White?"
Let's hear from Mike White. Excuse me, I was lied to.
This is boring.
They're actually talking about like toys and stuff, which I'm totally into, but Mike's astute audience may not be such engaged by such flights of fancy. As for me, you can find me over at weirdingwaymedia.com as well, where my show, The Culture Cast, is back, and I'm doing it weekly once again. So there you go. Solo episodes and non-solo episodes. So if that's a thing that you're into, cool. If not, whatever. Like, rate, and review.
No one's forcing you to listen to any of this stuff, people.
Yeah, like
You're trapped in your car. You can always just flip on the radio if you want. You don't have to turn on this podcast. It's really okay.
But guess what? Thanks for the listen. So yeah, like, rate, and review the show wherever you get it, more than likely iTunes. So like, rate, and review it on iTunes. And come back for the next episode where we talk about Chevy Chase in another family film. Hopefully this time he's a believable dad.